Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite podcast, Man Card. As we always start off our podcast with a quote of the week, Noah's got a fantastic one. Give it to me.
GameStop to the moon. Melvin Capital.
Hit it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite podcast, my favorite podcast, Noah's favorite podcast,
And John.
Card.
And John's.
It's also my second favorite
Promise,
podcast.
I was getting to that part. Today we have a very special guest. We have Jimi Hendrix's son.
That's me, Jimi Hendrix's son. Yeah,
John Hendrix.
John Hendrix, yeah. Well, John has been on the show before, and it was funny because we recorded that episode in my dorm room.
Which was nice. Now we're in your basement.
Now we're in my basement, so you guys are just tracking right along with me on the different stages of my life.
Now, is that an upgrade or a downgrade?
Honestly, that's up to you.
You
tell me that
looks
futon
good.
was comfy.
The futon was comfy.
Yeah.
it was
interesting.
really homey and cozy.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
I'll say it was warmer. Definitely warmer.
Warmer.
For whatever
Yeah.
reason, this basement's freezing.
It did get warm in my dorm room. I don't know why. I didn't have much control over the temperature. Even though we had little thermostats, Georgia Tech was like, turn that power off, baby. Especially during the summer. They don't like it. But anyway, welcome back to the show. We're excited you're here. Before we get going, we are live on YouTube. So you can, look us up, Man Card Podcast. And we're also on Instagram, which is Mitchell's territory.
Yeah, I'm killing it right now.
Killing
Followers going up.
Going up.
Like no other.
Yeah,
TikTok coming soon.
TikTok coming soon. Man Card Pod. Check us out. But let's get into it. So, John, welcome back to the show.
Appreciate it. Good to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So last time, since you've been on the last time, there have been a lot of things that have been going on. So first of all, you graduated.
I did.
Along with me.
Yep.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Sorry. You're still stuck. But you walked.
I did, yeah. So Georgia Tech gave the opportunity to walk, but instead of walking in May, when we graduated, I walked in December. So
yeah, I remember the
better
photos.
late than never, I guess.
Yeah, the photos looked a little interesting.
Yeah, it was an empty stadium, but my mother was happy, so therefore I'm happy.
Did they allow guests?
I think you had 5 guests total.
Okay.
Like per graduate.
Got you. Okay, because it did look very, very sparse.
Yeah.
It looked like a Georgia Tech football game kind of going on or something,
Yikes. You're not
Yeah,
wrong.
you contribute to that, Mitchell, because you
I
do not
do not
go to the
show up.
football game.
I've not gone once.
How many games have you? Oh,
Zero.
0.
I
I've been to
even-
1.
I bought a season pass last year because I want to get the UGA game, and I didn't
Right.
go to the UGA game.
That's the one game I went to was the UGA game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still didn't show up.
Wow, I don't even like football, and I went to every single.
I
football
wonder
game.
why. Let's recap.
Yeah, you were not the mic man of Georgia Tech. I
Yeah,
was
no, I was
required
not.
to be there. Now,
Exactly.
granted, if I wasn't required to be there, I think over my entire tenure at Tech, I did only miss one game, and I can't remember because I know the homecoming game my freshman year was on my birthday, and that was really special. So I went to that game, and I slept in. I didn't do any of the pregame stuff, which is always the best part. But either way, it's not about me. This is about John. So, John, you just went on a trek out to the Wild West. Now, start us from the way beginning, how that even happened.
Sure. I guess just taking it from the top. My buddy, one of my best friends from high school, he bought a Jeep Gladiator.
Okay.
And he kept talking to me like, hey, let's go out west. Let's go out west. And I was like, let's do it. I'm down whenever.
Yeah.
And so we had ended up planning out a road trip, doing all these cool like off-roading trails, seeing several national parks or whatnot. And then 4 days before like we were planning on leaving, he's like, you know what? I can't go. I have this new puppy and I want to stay here and take care of it. I just
Stupid
bought a
puppy.
house. He bought a house.
Really?
So, yeah, he's 25, just bought a house, got a dog, got a brand new Jeep Gladiator. Everything's good for him. But
Does he have
Or
an
really
SO?
bad. That sounds like
Yeah.
a lot of debt.
well, he's got enough. He's
Okay.
doing well. He's doing well. But so anyway, we had planned out this trip 4 days before we were planning on leaving. He's like, "Hey man, honestly, I just can't do this. Not right now." And I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do it anyway." So that night, I went online. I searched all the rental companies, found whichever one I could. I ended up going with Avis. Shout out Avis Car Rental.
Avis, what's up? If
There
you're
we
listening,
go.
hey, we could
Yeah.
always use a sponsor.
That's right. And so I put in for a Ford Edge or similar. So that's what I was expecting to drive. So anyways,
Okay.
4 days pass. I've bought and everything. I stopped by with you, grabbed your drone to borrow.
Yep, that's right. I remember that.
Just prepared as much as I could. I had kind of a loose plan as to where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have it like too down pat, just because I know like with travel, sometimes things come up and you're like, all right, I don't like this so much. Let's go on to the next. So
Yeah, right.
I kind of had a loose outline. So anyways, the day comes. I go to Avis at 8 a.m. and the dude at the counter goes, hey, so we don't have any of those Ford Edges, but how does a Toyota 4Runner sound? I was like, that's amazing. Let's do it right here, right now. I walk out. It's a prime, like 2019
Ooh.
Toyota 4Runner TRD off-road.
Oh, okay. That's dangerous. For a
Yes,
rental?
For a rental.
Whoopsie daisy. Sorry,
that's right.
Avis.
So,
Avis, I need you to close your ears for this portion of the podcast.
yeah. But anyway, so I hopped on the road. I got it going. I drove to Dallas, Texas in 1 day.
Wow.
13-hour car ride in 1 day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're one of the only people I know who can actually like drive for those extreme extended periods of time. We'll have to get into it in a minute what you did a few weeks ago. But
That's
anyway,
right.
Continue.
So I hopped in the car, went to Dallas, stayed with my uncle for a night or two just to visit with him and my cousins. And then I was like, all right, time to get the show on the road. So I should have been more prepared for this podcast. I should have written down my itinerary and everything else. But
No, dude, I love it. It's like organic. But you said a couple weeks ago that you went and visited your dad up in New York.
I did.
Right?
I did, yeah.
So you were up there, but you had to come back. So describe.
did.
You had this exchange with like a back and forth with New
Yeah,
York.
so I mean, this whole season of my life, post-graduation, I've probably driven at least 30,000 miles. I've probably spent easily, I don't know, I can't even tell you, probably over 400 hours in the car.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I hate that. Makes me tired.
Yeah,
right
it makes
now.
me sick, actually.
But the thing is like, looking back, I'm so happy with that experience because not only did I get to see all these cool things, I got to see the landscape change. I've driven in snowstorms. I've driven in the middle of the desert. I've drifted around on sand dunes.
Yeah.
I got lost in the middle of Death Valley, California. Like,
Oh, that's a
So,
good
like,
story.
all those hours spent in the car, some of them were adventuring, some of them were trail driving, some of them were just going off the beaten path and just adventuring. So I'm pretty happy with the amount that I drove. Now, I will say that the one thing that I'm not happy with is the money I've spent on gasoline this year.
Well, it's about to increase.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just this past week, I've noticed that the gas prices
It's
have
gone
just
up like
been
10 cents.
going up, and I mean 10 cents. To the average high schooler is like, oh, 10 cents. That's not that much. Stop whining about it. But for those of us in the real world that we have to get paid to drive,
I remember
It's a
in
lot.
high school, I had a truck. I had a lifted truck. And
you were one of those guys.
I was one of those
I
guys.
had big dick kind of energy. Let me just put this here on the table real
That's
quick.
right. But I remember when gas prices were like $4 or higher.
Yeah,
like
that was
Yeah.
like
$4.50.
what was it, late 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't a high schooler then. It was more like 2012.
Was it 2012?
something like
That's
that.
right. Yeah. There was that second little crash.
Thanks, Obama.
So I remember it took like $80 to fill up my
What a
truck.
meme. $80.
$80.
I remember that the old Jeep Wrangler I just got rid of.
Yeah.
I sold. That thing, I remember it took like $50-$60 to fill up, when usually it takes like 30.
Right.
And it was just driving me insane because it just is such a disincentive to drive.
Sure.
And for somebody especially like yourself that likes to get out and move, like I can't even imagine what that feels like. It's just like so restrictive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not.
I mean, when it's all said and done, like the amount of money that I did spend doesn't really bother me because I got so much out of it. So gas, hotels that I did stay in, food, equipment, camera stuff, I mean, anything that I did buy or purchase or whatnot. I'm so happy that I made those things happen because my life's better for it. So
so you got to tell us about the story, because you mentioned it to me, but I know Mitchell's curious.
Sure.
But you drove out in Death Valley, right, to take pictures just by yourself, be alone.
right.
What happened?
So Death Valley, let's see. Well, first off, I'm gonna preface this with it was 120 degrees when I was there.
Oh, that's
Yikes.
sweet. That's
Hey,
nice.
dude,
Yeah.
that's come on, just a nice average day.
It's
So-
a dry heat.
Let me actually take it a step back before I get into that whole Death Valley thing. The couple days before, I was going to Grand Canyon, and don't get me wrong, Grand Canyon is awesome. But I'm one of those people who likes to get in there and like hike around, like look around and see things.
Sure.
I just didn't have enough time to like warrant the time for me to like hike into like the canyon because it's a 2-day thing. One day hiking in, 1 day hiking out.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to spend 2 days there.
Really? They couldn't let the John Hendricks do it in 1 day?
I wish that would have been cool. So I did my cool photos there. I hung out, looked out over the I think I was on the East Rim for I don't know, maybe 4 hours. But by that time it was starting to get dark. And most of my days I would go find a camping spot on like Bureau of Wildlife Management land.
Sure.
Because it's free. It's called dispersed camping, so you have no amenities or anything. You just kind of go find a spot, pitch a tent, and like go for it.
What a man.
So I drove. So I guess before I say that, I have 2 criteria when I'm camping on BLM land, and one of those is I have at least 1 bar of cell service, or I'm within 100 yards of somebody else camping.
Sure.
So I drove around on these trails near the Grand Canyon for probably about 2 hours trying to find a spot. And the first place that I finally found, I get out, I start walking around, I turn around, and there's 2 carcasses of elk that were killed by, I guess, mountain lions.
Yeah, that's a no.
And so I saw that and I was like, yeah, I don't want this. So I got back in my car. I kept driving around until I could find service again. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to camp here. I don't want to see the Grand Canyon again tomorrow. I saw it today. And so right then and there, I decided I'm going to drive to Vegas from the Grand Canyon.
What a bad boy.
Yeah.
How long is that drive?
I think it was like 4.5, 5 hours, something like that. Maybe longer. I don't know.
Was it the middle of the night? It's just like...
Yeah, so by the time I decided that, it was about 9 p.m. It was dark. So then I had to get out of those trails. So I hit the road. I'm cruising down these dirt roads for, I don't know, maybe an hour trying to get out. I finally get on the highway. I drive to Las Vegas. So I cross the Hoover Dam. I get to see all these cool things.
That's a cool sight.
So I get to Las Vegas at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or whatever on a Saturday night. So it's popping off. COVID or not, it's popping off. So I'm like, you know what?
Go, boys.
I'm
Yeah.
exhausted, but I'm still going to drive the strip. So I'm just driving the strip. I'm looking at all these cool things. I'm halfway considering like parking and trying to go to a casino because I've never been. I've never been to Vegas. I didn't end up doing that. I got my sleep because I knew that I wanted to go to Death Valley the next day.
Did you just get a hotel room or did you camp
Yeah,
out?
for Vegas, I did get a hotel.
Okay. That would have been a complete whiff. You go to Vegas, you're like, wow, this is so cool.
Although,
all right, pitch a tent.
I was so close to getting one of those really cool rooms at one of those fancy like casino resorts. Like they were like $80 a night, and it wasn't bad.
I do hear like stories. So I was in line, was it 2 days ago, getting my tag for the new car, and first of all, just avoid the tag office at all possibility if you can.
You're talking about
Like a
registration
DMV.
kind of tag. Yeah, just go to Kroger.
No, you
the
have
machine.
to get a license for like a license plate first.
Oh,
before
you're getting your license plate.
Yeah.
Not just, okay.
So I was at the tag office and it was a nightmare. So the first time I went, I waited 4.5 hours just to get in the door. And then, I got in line at like 4 o'clock and I got home by 8.
Wow.
So it was at 4 hours. Yeah, about 4 hours. And in that whole process, I was like, man, I got everything. I triple checked, and I get in there and I was like, perfect. Here's all my stuff. Let me pay the ad valorem tax and whatever on my car. And they said, where's your emissions?
No.
And I was like, it's an out-of-state car. So I totally forgot that you have to re-up emissions when you bring an out-of-state car in your current state, which don't do that. And so then what killed me more is I could have said, hey, hold my place in line, gone and done it, and then come back in the time it spent me to wait. So that pissed me off. But I was still able to, release my title and pay the ad valorem tax. So at least I did something. But to put salt in the wound, I had to come back again to get the tag, and it was only 20. So I had to wait another however long to get my tag and pay $20 for it. I was like, oh, but
Sounds like you had a trip.
I did, but at least the second time I went, I met a guy in line. He was a super nice guy, and he had, he currently works for State Farm. He's so nice, and he was like,
Is it Jake?
Jake from State Farm.
Jake, are you out there? Is that
Jake?
you? But no, he used to just gamble. Like he was one of those guys that was like on the online gambling phase.
And now he works at State Farm.
Right, now he works at State Farm, but he was like, yeah,
I am that guy now. With stocks, bro. GameStop.
popping off.
Dogecoin.
Excuse me, don't ban us, please.
Dogecoin to the moon.
To the moon.
Diamond hands.
See, listen, when it comes to that stuff, I'm a total fan of the underdog. But when it comes to these shutdowns, I want to punch a wall. I'm not even involved, but I'm like, dang, come on, what about these guys? Like, want to invest in a stupid company, troll these, investors.
Billionaires, yeah.
It's like, I mean, I hate it for the billionaires also,
No, you
because
don't.
it's like,
No.
they're trying to get money too. Like, they're businessmen
For their second boat.
for their second or third boat. But no, he was in line, and he said he ran up like these credits at these casinos, and they would reach out to him and be like, hey, listen, here's a full week free at, whatever hotel. Come out, gamble, and we'll host you, and get you in the high rollers lounge and all that stuff.
That actually sounds kind of dope.
Oh, it's nuts, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is Vegas is about time, and this is what he was going into, was the perfect timing for Vegas is 3 days. Because you're there for a full day, and then you're forced to leave, right? You're forced to take whatever you have, loss or gain, with you when you leave.
I'll try to remember that.
The longer you stay, he was like, I was there for 3 days. I was up like 150,000, and then he was like, I was there for 4 or 5 more days, and then it was all gone.
No, my gosh, it makes me sick.
He said he turned, and now granted, of course, this is just a guy I met in line at the tag office, so I don't know how true it is, but he was like, yeah, I turned $500 into like $250K.
I would have left
in
easily.
a few days.
I would have left after 10K.
But that's the thing. So your mentality of like, I'm going to leave is like, yeah, for sure. I would totally do that
but you get
in 2020. But when you're in there and you're winning, and you got 250,000.
You start seeing your life change before your eyes.
You increase the minimums. Yeah. So you switch tables.
Right.
So it goes from a 500 minimum bet to a 1,000.
Sure.
To a 10,000. To a 20,
Was he
30,000.
playing cards or?
Yeah, he was doing
Blackjack.
like a mix of blackjacks, craps and all that stuff.
If I ever went back to Vegas and gambled, I would never do any sort of machines because those are all rigged.
They
any sort of cards, absolutely, because like that's more of a game of skill and luck.
I would much rather. I'll just be completely honest. Like, I love the idea of Vegas. I think it's fun, but I would hate to go out there and feel terrible, like just losing all my money. Of course, I would only go with the money I'd be willing to lose, but I would have much more fun just like with the guys at a table. We each bring $100 and just like have fun. I'd rather give it to you guys.
So,
than
is that your bachelor party?
Yeah.
Maybe coming down the pike. I don't know. We'll see. We can talk about it if we want. But you told me a story. There was one, you were like out in the dunes and you parked your car and you hiked out to get a photo.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So this actually wasn't Death Valley. This is White Sands,
Oh, this
New
is White
Mexico.
Sands? Okay.
Yeah. So this was my first national park that I stopped at. So White Sands is amazing, absolutely incredible. I'd recommend anybody and everybody to go visit there at least once. So when you drive in, it looks otherworldly because it's just white sand, pure white.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about it is that sand, it's made of crystal, so it doesn't get hot in the sun. So even though it was like 100 degrees there when I was there, you could walk on it with bare feet.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to touch.
It's that dry heat. It's that dry
That's
heat.
right. But anyway, so White Sands, absolutely amazing. I stayed there all day just taking cool photos and just kind of walking around, doing some trails. And I was like, you know what? I want to get some really, really cool sunset photos. I want to be where nobody else is.
Yeah.
So I parked my car, I got out, and I just started walking. And I walked, and I walked, and I walked. And I found this awesome spot, some really crazy dunes that were just massive. I ended up taking some really cool photos.
Yeah.
But then what I didn't think about was that when night comes, you're surrounded by dunes that all look the same.
Oh, no.
So the sunset's setting. It's beautiful. I'm distracted. I'm getting cool photos. And then all of a sudden, that cool sunset turns to like pitch black. And so like I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta go.
And then it starts to get cold.
Because it's like a 45-minute walk back to the car. So
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
all right, I came from this direction. I'm not gonna deviate. I'm gonna do my best to just walk in a straight line. Because if I'm lost out here, I have no cell service. I got nothing. I mean, I have enough food and water and whatever else to survive overnight if I really need to, but don't really want to. So I start walking. Eventually I start running because I was like, I gotta get back to the car. I still have a tiny bit of light. And then after about 45 minutes, I find the road. I wasn't anywhere near my car, so I followed the road to my car.
Oh man.
But I'm just so thankful that
Found the road.
I found the road because everything around that area looks the same because it's all just white sand.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. I got back to my car and I've never been so excited to see
4
anything.
seats and a steering wheel.
That's right.
baby.
That's right.
Did you bring the drone with you to take the pictures of the sunset?
So
Because I would have said just throw that drone up in the sky.
I didn't
so
have.
look.
I had the drone locked in the glove box because in national parks you're not supposed to fly them. I did once, but
you're not legally allowed to in national parks.
But you do anyway.
But plausible deniability is always a great way to go about that, especially as a hobbyist. I have my drone license. Anybody who has a drone license and is flying commercially, you cannot do that. But if you're a hobbyist, they're not going to arrest you.
well, I did it once and I'm still okay. So, and it was your drone, so.
Oh yeah, I didn't have it registered at that point, so we were all good.
But yeah, that was pretty crazy. I remember pulling up to my hotel. I stayed in a Motel 6. That was great.
Oh no, you mean you pull up out front and you walk inside?
Yeah. So like that was
Oh,
all
no.
I could find at that late of notice because I was planning on camping, but I just was
couldn't.
covered in sand. I was gross. I was like, I need a shower. I don't care.
Yeah.
First thing I found below $100 was Motel 6, baby.
Did it have a bed shaker?
I'm not gonna even get into it.
What was the motel level? How many cockroaches did you count in the bathtub? Golly, those always freak me
I'll
out.
just say this: I slept in my sleeping bag, on top of my blanket, on top of the bed.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that just goes to show you how much trust you have in them washing them sheets.
yeah,
That's nasty.
Yeah, I wonder if you came through with a black light, how much?
I wouldn't.
I don't want to think about it.
Don't even think about it. Never
I
mind.
don't-
Just
yeah.
forget about it. Never mind. Let's move on. Okay, so there's one thing that I wanted to bring up. I know we were talking about your trip. Obviously, the show is about John and his experiences. One experience that I cannot glaze over is how Ellie and I tried to play matchmaker with you and one of her bridesmaids. So I just for the people out there, we'll be sparing on the names. Fill us in on the deets, man. I know you were going through a lot, so this is a great way for you to ease the weight off your chest. You're turning into a tomato. I love it.
Oh boy.
So what happened? What happened, dude? Because, it was great. It was good, but there was a lot going on. So clear it out.
Sure.
We talk a lot about our exes and things on this show.
Yeah, we do.
I've
don't
done my
don't
fair
be
share,
uncomfortable
yep.
at all.
All right. Well, I guess just starting off, I remember us going to get sushi. All four of us,
Oh,
me, Ellie,
That was your first mistake.
and Noah.
I'm gonna
and
have to be
her.
honest. I probably did have the shits after that.
Yikes.
Sushi, and me.
No go.
I don't know.
We could have done something else.
I'm a nice guy.
Oh, I see.
I think Ellie wanted sushi too. So
Oh wait, y'all four went.
We
Oh.
all
yeah.
went.
Oh,
double,
that's fun.
Double date. Yeah.
Mm.
it was good. Well, I mean, she's friends with Ellie, obviously, because she's a bridesmaid. But John and I, it's groomsmen. So I was like, you know what? Let's freaking do this.
That's right. I mean, I'm a pretty talkative guy, and that dinner was awesome. It was fun.
It was fun. It was a good time.
We ended up hanging out a little bit afterwards. We went shopping for a minute. But,
we went back to your apartment, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. That was fun. Showed you guys because I don't think you guys had seen it yet, had you?
No, I hadn't been there. I know you had mentioned it, but it was a great opportunity to just like naturally move from dinner to like what was going
Because
on
it was
next.
literally like a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, it was right next door.
Right next. So.
And that was one of the reasons why we chose that place because you were like,
Yeah.
oh, there's this, what was it called? It's called Yokusu or something. I can't remember what.
I'm not even going to attempt
I'm
it.
not going to try. Sorry, apologies to the owners of that place. But anyway, so yeah, we went afterwards to your apartment, and it just seemed like it was going well.
Yeah, I mean, it did. It did. It went very well. We hung out maybe a couple more times after that.
Hold on, let's not
Yeah,
glaze
he's
over.
good. We hung out a couple times, it just didn't work out, and thanks for a great show. That's a great place.
That's it. That's all we got. See you later. No, but you went afterwards with her to like just go grocery shopping because she said she had to do it for.
It was like gift shopping for her brother.
Got it. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously that went well enough to then see her again.
That's right. Yeah, we went and go see a movie and got dinner. I think that's all we did actually after that. Like post our dinner that day.
So give just a little context just for the people out there what was going on around that situation.
Sure.
Because we were in class, so I knew what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going through some health things because I had a surgery.
Yeah.
I guess a few months before that. And after that surgery, I had a complication that I didn't know was happening, and I was slowly internally bleeding.
Yep.
So I didn't notice it because, well, for starters, it was so slow that it just wasn't something that I could notice. I just thought I was really tired. And so it just progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse. And so eventually, like, that became my full focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had gotten sick and I just kind of fell off the wagon and
Fell off the wagon since you became an alcoholic again.
honestly,
Or is that falling off the turnip truck? Is that
something like that.
No.
something like that? One of those out there.
But it was just one of those really rough times in my life, and I think I handled a lot of things during that period a little wrong.
Well, it wasn't like you handled things wrong. I feel like in those situations, just tying it back to just how to be a man, I think for anyone going through something hard like that, the easiest way to get through those is with the help of others. You know what I mean? And being in Atlanta pseudo by yourself,
Sure.
you know, that just makes it really tough. Obviously you had like me and friends from class and stuff, but you know, it's not like we were hanging out every single second.
Right.
And you were at your worst, so it's like, you know, do you really want all these people
I'm
to
also
show up?
one of those guys who, if I'm going through something, like, I like to deal with it myself because that's what I've grown up doing.
Like a man.
That's right, you know. But
Suck it up out there.
yeah, so I just kind of turned the whole world off, to be honest.
Yeah.
For a little while. Even my friends, like, I don't know. Like I said, my sole focus was get through this first.
I did, and just for you to know, so he came into class one day, and this was like the cusp right before he like went into the hospital. You were looking like, if I can say,
Sure.
he was looking like Casper's brother, like Casper the
Oh, that's
ghost.
sweet. Yeah.
And me and another guy, we'll call him out, Philip. What's up, brother? But we were both like, dude, are you like good? Like, what is going on? Like, he looked like he was hungover, but then hungover for about a month. And I was like, bro, we need to like, are you like, can we drive you or whatever? You were like, no, I got it, man. I got it. And you know, that's just typical you of like, I'll figure it out, man. I'll figure it out. And come to find out what ended up happening, you got to how'd you get to the hospital?
That's right. So I remember, like, I got a routine, like, blood test because, like, post-surgery, like, that's just normal for a few months. And so I got the routine thing, and my doctor called me and said, go to the emergency room right now. And I was like,
That's
bruh.
scary as
I was like,
hell.
bro, why?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, like, you got no blood. And I was like,
Excuse
okay.
me?
So I drove myself to the ER. And when I walked in, the woman was like, hey, how can I help you? And I was like, yeah, so my doctor told me to come in. Apparently I have a hemoglobin level of a 4. And she like was like, what? I was like, that's what he said. And she was like, so she kind of started freaking out. But apparently, like, with hemoglobin levels, if you have anything below a 7, you really shouldn't be able to walk.
Oh, so you are one bad mother. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
He drove himself to the ER. He walked in. He's like,
I was
yo, I got
walking
a
to
level
class
4.
every
What's
day.
up?
It was like a mile and a quarter walk every day to class. And
Yeah.
I was still trying to keep up with homework and stuff. It was really hard because I was just so tired and exhausted all the time. But I was doing it. But
Yeah, you were hanging in, and you did your best too, and no shame,
Right.
Because like all the classes, honestly, they were being kind of jerks about it. Like some of those professors came in and they were like, "Yeah, man, like we kind of need this stuff from you," and we were all in class. We're like, "He's like dead, dude. Can you like leave him
His
alone?"
level was a 4.
He's a 4. Okay, listen, 4.
7,
So-
you wouldn't be here.
one of my close friends from high school, his mom went through something not similar, but she lost some blood and had a hemoglobin level of like an 8, and she couldn't stand up, like she couldn't walk or anything, and like that's how weak it makes you.
Look at this guy.
Gee.
But, like,
He's flexing a little bit.
a
right
little
now.
bit,
On the
but-
camera, y'all don't see it. His guns are showing.
That's right. But yeah, so that's kind of what was going on in my life. I had a 5-day stay in the hospital. That was fun. I
So what do they do to fix something like that?
I got 4 units of blood.
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, shove more blood in you
Sure.
because you don't have it. But like, how do they stop the internal bleeding? Kind of thing?
So it was coming from 2 ulcers from where my surgery didn't like heal properly.
Yeah.
And so I was taking a really strong steroid that helps, I
Heal.
guess, make your body more receptive to healing, that kind of
You
thing.
didn't need no steroids, bro. You walking in there with the 4. What
that's
do
right.
you need?
You're mentioning steroids. We should really
Shut
turn
up.
it up.
Shut up.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
I mean,
can't-
listen, they
people
also,
call you out?
they help you,
Yeah.
heal internally, but they also like something about stunt your growth or like.
See the issue is, I was told that it would make me like bigger, like more muscular. It didn't work. It just shrunk things.
Yikes.
Hey, that's okay.
It's
We'll,
crazy.
We'll do another podcast about
Yeah.
that. But no,
No
I'm
pictures.
glad that you are better now.
Right.
That was not only a tough time for me being just a friend, but like I can't even imagine for you dealing with like knowing people were worried about you and having other things of your life to manage. I just think that's incredible. Like, so how did you just mentally get through that? Because I know like you're here on the other side looking back. I know it's much easier to kind of compartmentalize.
Sure. I mean, not to get in too deep, but like I've had things go on in my life since I was in high school, like health wise.
Yeah.
At this point, everything's good thanks to that surgery. But
Yeah.
like in high school, I struggled a lot. So I guess it's just kind of a self-taught thing. Like after you go through enough of it, you just get used to it.
Right. Right.
So like for instance, like for me, like I have a very, very high pain tolerance. And I think that kind of contributed to me like not even realizing that I was feeling bad.
Yeah, that's tough.
And which is pretty popular. It's a common thing to happen to somebody who like grew up with that certain like health condition. Which
Right.
like I said, everything's good and clear now. It just took almost a decade of working through it.
But you're here on the other side.
That's
'cause
right.
You just
So-
had your last, was it iron infusion?
Yeah, so I was getting iron through an IV.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
black
straight
Iron Man,
metal.
dude, this
black
dude,
liquid going
I'm
into your
done.
arm.
I don't want to hear anymore about how.
Yeah, listen, I'm
badass
gonna
this
have to
guy
ask you to
is.
stop posting your gym videos because
Start
you look
posting
like an
him.
idiot compared to this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna drop some of those old iron just infusion videos. You can be like, "What's up, everybody?"
See, I'm gonna ask a stupid question here.
Sure.
You internal bleeding.
Yeah.
But you didn't have. Then they said you didn't have blood. How does that work if it's internal? Where's it going?
So
Let's just
that
say
sounds
his
really.
poops were really dark.
Maybe that's it. I was just
Honestly,
when I hear
I didn't
internal
even-
bleeding, I'm like,
I-
it's not going nowhere. It's just going
I
to different
don't-
places.
I don't know. My assumption was because it was I don't know where it went.
Yeah. All right.
which is kind of weird to think about because like I didn't see anything amiss. The only thing that I felt amiss was that I was just extraordinarily tired
Yeah.
and a little bit, I mean, I guess weak. But
I mean, if you look back on it, could you at some point be like, okay, I was kind of ignoring some pain
think-
indicators?
no pain indicators, but I think looking back and seeing myself in pictures and seeing how pale I was like, I should have realized something with that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I am a pretty fair-skinned guy, but that was like a whole new level of just like gray.
Yeah, you have some nice, some undertones to your
Right.
skin, and it was just like zipped. And that's when I was like, okay, dude, like you got to call it, because you weren't feeling good for about a week and a half at that point, and so I was like, man, something's going on.
Yeah, but like to go back to it, I guess the thing in my head, like what keeps me going is just thinking like, hey, like you never know if it's not gonna get better, then like it's not. But if it is, then it's coming, and so it's gonna be there soon, hopefully.
Right,
So just keep reaching towards that, one foot in front of the other, just keep going. Like, and that's all. That's how I did it all through high school and whatnot, all through early college.
But if it did go poorly, I did call his scuba license.
He
So-
laid claim to my scuba license, which has my picture on it, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But
I'll just dye my hair and grow a crappy beard.
You'll dye your hair. I am.
all right, sounds good.
What hair color difference do y'all have?
No,
Isn't his a little darker than mine?
No, y'all have literally the same color hair.
Oh well, then easy.
Yeah, so you're.
Although
good.
yours looks
you
much
just
better
got,
than
you
mine.
gotta have your hair's gotta go the other way.
you gotta have.
Right
Oh,
it
is
there.
it going the other way?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Swoop.
Yeah.
There was, it's funny. So I always think about this when I get my hair done, which is totally not on topic at all. But it's was it the 1930s and 40s, or right after World War II, the United States, all of the young men in the United States would never get their hair cut in the same direction that Adolf Hitler had his hair done.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and so like for generations, there was always like a big taboo with having your hair go in one direction as a man, and I just think that's like, having your hair done a certain way is always, kind of prototypically female, but then during this whole generation post World War II, there was this like stigma around men having their hair go one direction versus the other.
That must have been where, bringing a picture in a barber start place, you show a picture of Hitler. I don't want this, please.
Dude, I felt like a douchebag the last time I went to go get my haircut. I think I
Because you
told
did
this.
what?
Because
douchebag?
So yeah, it is a big douchebag move, but I wanted that hair back. So I usually, Ellie would send me photos of, who she wishes I looked like.
Sure.
And
every woman
who's on
does.
that list?
Just Brad Pitt, John Stamos, and no, I'm kidding. But I would usually go into just a photo of just a, model off the internet of like a hairstyle and just be like, hey, make not me, but make my hair look like that. Because obviously I don't look like that. And so this time I brought in a photo of myself.
He's like, I want to look like this guy. She looks at it. Oh, I'm done. Appreciate it.
It's like,
Nice.
oh, wait. Sorry, I can't help you with that. There's no help to be done. But I felt super bad because I was like, I tried to zoom in far enough to where it like you couldn't identify, but I was like,
Right.
it looked like me. I was like, oh no, dang it.
I mean, there's no shame. You looked good with that haircut apparently, so like you wanted it back.
Yeah, but that's the problem is I thought I looked good with that haircut. So did I really look good with that haircut? That's the real question. And it's probably the answer is no. The answer is no for sure. But anyway, so back to the groomsmen, bridesmaids, drama. It's not really drama.
Did you? I guess we can just. Did you just ghost her? Is that just what happened? Because you said you shut the world out, or is there something?
Unintentionally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean,
And I regret it.
it's happened to the worst or best of us.
Yeah.
Worst of us.
I mean, definitely, I think being ghosted is one of the worst feelings. But at the same time, knowing why somebody ghosted you, I think gives a little bit of levity to the situation. Just because, if it was just it was going well and then all of a sudden nothing.
Yeah,
then
that's true.
I think that would have been a little strange. But since she was plugged in. I mean,
she knows.
You can
right?
correct me, but she was filled in to the whole situation, so it wasn't completely out of the blue.
Right. Yep, you're not wrong.
Oh, you hesitated. Hold on. We got to dive in a little bit more. So, no, she didn't know all the way.
I think she did.
Okay.
As far as I know.
But no, I mean, I think in any situation like that, I think life. We all take life too seriously. So I think even in a situation like that where it's like, oh, I feel terrible, I totally ghosted somebody, there's never a world where reconciliation can't come back.
That's fair.
So and she doesn't care. I've known her, I've hung out with her since. So
you didn't mean that much to her.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, that idiot, I hated him anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not that cool.
He wasn't that good of a kisser. But no, I think you're a good kisser.
That's great. That's great.
But yeah, so I think this wedding might be a great way to recapture some.
We're gonna rekindle some
fire.
things.
I
Whether
think-
you want to or not, you're walking with her.
Oh boy.
I'll make it
Because
happen.
I'll tell you right now, I know obviously the best man that you're not. Sorry.
Thanks.
I'll help you fight him.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Well, he's already threatened to kill all of you. So
Apparently I'm last, so
well, he
it
thinks
goes to the
he's
next
he
person.
thinks he's last.
No, but you
he
said
puts
that.
himself last. I did not. You
said
said
it in
that.
one of the podcasts. We'll go back.
Fact check. But he, if you're last, then I feel bad because I must have said something terribly wrong for you to think that.
Well, I was just feeling bad. I had to take out 5 other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could definitely. You're jacked. So
Good luck.
I don't want to take you.
Right.
Just take me and just take my spot, and then you just don't even. You choose your best man.
True.
I'm a blue belt in
That's-
jiu-jitsu.
that's
Let's
true.
get it. No.
Ellie would probably respect the results of that winner. I don't know. We can ask her.
Right.
But
right.
no, I think just being a groomsman is funny to me. So Ellie's sister is the maid of honor. That's usually how that works.
Right.
And then my best man is my childhood best friend that I've grown up with, which makes sense.
Sure.
And so they're obviously walking together because that makes sense. Past that point, I don't think we've made any dedicated decisions to who's walking with who.
And so it is him and no name.
Yeah, no
definitely.
name. Yeah.
And the rest we draw out of a hat. Just throw them in a hat.
Throw him in a hat, draw him. Because I think you would go well with the other person that I'm not going to say her name.
That's fine. We've already mentioned it. I know who you're talking about.
Because she definitely has tattoos, and you have an affinity for tattoos.
Now
Yeah.
anybody listening is gonna be like, all right, who has tattoos?
Who has tattoos?
Who hasn't?
They're gonna
I
start
don't know.
looking.
A couple people have tattoos, so that's they can fight amongst themselves.
Right.
I mean, granted, he is a chiseled sculpture from the heavens above.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if I was a bridesmaid, I'd want to walk with him. So
I would. I would definitely. Maybe I won't even walk with the.
Maybe I won't even get married to
officiant.
Ellie.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Right.
Listen, Ellie will come down the aisle and I'll say, you know what? Listen, you look beautiful, but Mitchell, will you marry me?
Mitchell
Right.
takes precedence.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but no, I don't think we've made any decisions. And so, Evans and Leah, they're the only ones that we've. Oh no, I said.
Oh,
names.
yep. You just. Okay, so it's not Leah. Leah.
Leah.
Leah.
Princess.
It's not Leah.
Princess Leah.
So Leah's not the one we were talking about. Whoa, Jesus.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't watching our show on YouTube, Mitchell just made eye contact with my lovely fiance behind the camera, who she creeped down like a
Yeah, no kidding.
freaky person.
She
we
was
didn't know
sneaky.
yeah, that was sneaky. We didn't know she was there. I only noticed she was there because I'm looking right at the camera. But hey, welcome. You're awake now.
Yeah, heart dropped a little bit.
That's good. Yeah, because we're talking shit over here.
Yeah, you mentioned her name once, she just appears.
I know.
See,
it's almost like Ellie.
yeah, the
comes
look
out
in the
of
mirror
nowhere.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think it's going to be a great time because I know the groomsmen, we're planning on going, I think, to the lake house
That'd be super fun.
with all of us.
Yeah.
Please, if my uncle, he's not watching, but if my uncle's watching, please let's borrow your lake house. We won't wreck your
Please.
boat, I promise. But he's a really nice guy, and that's where I got engaged to Ellie. So
Awesome.
it's a really special place for me and her, and so I'd love to share that with y'all for sure. And it's fun. We can booze up, have a good time, eat, drink, have some snacks, play some games,
Beautiful.
hit the lake. I just, I can't think of a better situation.
All is good.
Yeah, watch a
right.
bunch of movies. I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah. Gives you some time to rekindle things. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe we make it a double engagement, kind of get engaged there.
Hey, listen, we can.
It's just the spot.
We can work something out. Ellie could, instead of throwing the flowers, hand it off to somebody.
Oh,
Hey, listen,
gosh.
you've got 3 months. I don't want to say the clock's running, but go. But anyway, thanks for watching, tuning in. Once again, we're live on YouTube. So if you want to look us up, Mancard Podcast on YouTube. If you want to send us an email, mancardpod@gmail.com. And we're live on social media as well. So hit us up there. Mitchell's watching. I'm not.
Instagram, yes.
Yeah, Instagram.
That's
well,
me.
theoretically he's watching, but
Yeah.
he needs to get
I
better
do
at
get
that.
the notifications.
Do you?
Yeah, when we get random followers from time to time.
I'm gonna
It's
test
nice.
that. I'm gonna test that. I'll
All
DM you from a fake account and see if you respond.
Sweet.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.